Howdy, welcome back to the channel. This is Matthew Pizgatti. I've got a question for everyone. This video is first and foremost a question for everyone in the drip garden. Not only that, it's also a reminder on some of my strategy to myself as well as anyone who actually follows along and listens to anything I say, which might be a few people out there. So we're serving two purposes here, two birds, one stone, or however the saying goes. First, the question: is your drip garden pumping? Is it going up? Are you seeing positivity in the garden? And what I mean by that is actually just in the last 2 days, 3 days, or did you see a turn of the tide when drip was, heading upwards, so to speak, which it hasn't dropped that much back down. It hit a little over 12, 13 on the native decks, and it did come back down a little bit, but not so much that it just looks ridiculous. So that's my first question. Our first point in this video is to ask that question. So add that down to comments below or join the Telegram. Let me know. I'm interested in that first little tidbit there, because I am now obviously I've shown before my LP does go up. My daily LP climbs, and I think a lot of it's due to referrals. It can't just be pure garden compounding, because a lot of you guys are compounding and doing nothing else, and you've told me that, and you were still seeing a decline. So you can see my two big takeouts. I basically got my ROI in those two, and I put them straight to pigs, so I didn't really make any profit there. But other than that, because I saw such a vertical increase over the last couple days when drip was having this pump here, let's see, that started on the 7th, 8, 9, 10, 11, so we're about 4 days. It's knocked back down a little bit. It may continue on a downward trend again, but I'm just incredibly interested. Did you see some type of pump? Because when I look at my daily, I was at about 16, 17, and it went up every day, 18, 19. Today it was at 20. So that's the first thing. I wanted to ask that question. Put it in the comments, join the Telegram, let me know. I'd be interested to hear everyone's experiences if you're in the garden. One little side note here, interesting to see the seeds still at 2.592 million seeds is what a plant is valued at, right? And that equates to about 5 cents. Now, very interesting there, because I saw it at 4 cents when this pump, right before this pump started. It was at least at 4 cents. So not only did it go up, the quote-unquote decay, as we like to call it, essentially paused while drip and the contract balance were on the way up. So all you naysayers, everybody who is so down on the garden, this is more vindication, more proof, I don't know what more you need, that when drip goes up and the contract balance goes up, the garden does well. So it's not just the mechanism of the garden by itself. I saw my daily going up in dollar value of what I could potentially claim that day. So yes, it's sad when drip goes down for months and months and months at a time. We weren't making any money, obviously, but it's cool to see that the mechanisms work the way they should when those things are increasing. And I see here the LP, of course, took a little bit dip again after drip, settled back down from where it was. But there was this huge pump in the LP, so that's one factor. And the contract balance didn't dip back down. So that tells me, people were perhaps dollar cost averaging in. They were adding more capital or doing something like that, or at least compounding a lot more heavily than they had been, because they realized, oh, maybe the drip garden's heading back up and we should compound instead of just draining the system. So contract balance is actually up from where it was. Well, that's 385. We're up to 401,000. So that's pretty neat. So here's the second point to this video, is the reminder on strategy. When you're on the way down like this, sure, if you hadn't hit your ROI and it doesn't seem to be taking huge chunks out of your daily LP, you see these huge chunks, that's because I saved up over a week each time, and I took these huge chunks, and it takes so long to recover. If you claim on 1 day a week and you've been compounding all the other times, and it's not taking a huge chunk out, by all means, I mean, it's your strategy. You got to do your own, kind of thinking, your own research here and experiment. But even on a downward trend where drip is just falling here like this, if you're not seeing a huge chunk taken out of your daily LP revenue, like on the scheduler here, there's a great resource for this. If you're not seeing huge chunks taken out, by all means, 1 day a week, or one claim out of every 7 compounds, or whatever however you want to look at it, do some type of 80-20, 90-10 type ratio, and take it out on the way down. But if you're seeing huge chunks taken out and it takes days and days for your garden to recover while we're on this downward trend, then just a reminder strategy, it's not smart to be taking it out. You want to compound pretty much all the way down, because that's all I've been doing except those big chunks I took out. And so now I'm seeing just this few days of pump, I'm seeing this increase. My daily dollar value that I could take out increase every day. And it'd be even higher for me if I had been compounding those couple days, those couple weeks that I let it save up. And again, I was trying to get in on the piggy bank early, which is why I did that. I was excited for the piggy bank, so I had a reason. But if you don't have a reason like that and you're on a downward trend, I recommend just compound, compound, compound. I mean, if it's not taking a huge chunk out and you are making enough that you feel like taking out once a week, sure, go ahead and do it. But I really wouldn't recommend it on the downward trends. Do it on weeks like this where we're having these raises, and we can actually take some profit out without completely hurting, destroying our garden that we have to build back up. And so that brings me to a change in my strategy, especially while we're on this little bit of a pump. Unless we just start dropping heavily again back down to like 650 drip or something, which is still possible. Still possible if the farms don't go live soon and we don't get any new utility before we hit that price. We may go back down. But this week at least, because I saw this upturn. Tomorrow's Saturday. So tomorrow I'm going to claim. Tomorrow I'm going to compound. But then on Sunday, I'm going to use Sunday as my day. If everything looks pretty positive and there's some bit of profit, or like things are going well like they are right now, the decay is practically paused during that pump time. It may go back to 4 cents tomorrow if we drop, who knows. But I'm going to claim on Sunday. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to claim nothing from drip faucet, of course, because I'm not making enough there, and drip's so low right now, there'd be no point. And probably not the piggy bank. Maybe from my referral unlocks, maybe from my unlock stakes, I might, but they're so low in dollar value because pigs are so low. I'm not sure. But I think I'm going to claim at least from the garden, maybe from the piggy bank on Sundays for now. That'll be how I'm changing my strategy. And remember, these videos help me document this so I can come back and listen and see what changes I made. And if they were stupid later on, I can judge myself harshly. But yeah, so I'm going to switch to that. I'm going to start claiming on Sundays at least, compound the rest of the week for those two things, for the garden, possibly the piggy bank. And then when those reach some type of rate, if the farms go live, I'll be able to put DRIP BUSD back into farms, into this pool here, because that earns pigs, and that's what we're trying to actually get. We're trying to use dogs and DRIP BUSD to earn pigs. Or I may split the DRIP and put it back in the faucet while DRIP is low, and then we ride that back up to the top when DRIP is high. I'll probably do a little of both. And then pig pen. If I claim anything from the piggy bank, that's what I'm going to save those up for, put them in the pig pen. Pig pen returns are not very big right now. They won't be until some more of those other utilities are up and running, until we get some of these new things actually, like if we get the scratch off lottery tickets, we've had some previews of those. That will be something big that happens that really boosts rewards in the pig pen. So you may want to have a stake in there. You may want to have it built up before we reach that point. And by the way, while we're talking about the scratch tickets, here's a little preview that the developer shared. Forex Shark was sharing this in one of the Telegram groups. Just kind of a little preview of what all the different scratch tickets are going to look like. Maybe a little preview into what the portal will look like that you'll be utilizing for the scratch off lottery tickets. And if it continues on the way that they've talked about it, or the way he thinks it's going to work, it'll be something akin to an NFT. So even if you're losing ticket, if it doesn't win, you'll still have an NFT that you'll be able to stake for more rewards, or sell off in some way. So it's not going to just be purely a scratch off, and if you lose, you've wasted your funds, which would be kind of annoying in the crypto sphere. So just wanted to share that with you. But yeah, if you got to do what works for you, and that's the whole point of all of these strategies, is to experiment and see what works for you. But like I said, if it's not taking this huge type of chunk out every time that you claim, you don't have to rebuild your garden for days. If you're seeing this dollar value still increase, your LP value increase, that might be the time to start doing that 6-1 ratio and claiming at least a couple times a week or one time a week. just if it's not completely wrecking your garden. And on these uptrends, it shouldn't be. And so that goes back to my first question. Are you seeing a large increase, or did you at least see some type of positivity in your garden? Because that'd be amazing to hear after so much negativity. I was kind of worried to even I'd been making a lot of videos in the garden, but I didn't want to be promoting it in the downtrends because I can't guarantee that it's on the way back up. But things like this, if I see some vindication that it is coming back up alongside drip, then that's really great. I'm seeing that on my end, so I'm wondering what you guys are all seeing on your end, guys and gals, I should say. So I'm seeing some positivity there. I'm going to start claiming at least on Sundays. On the downtrend, like I said, it doesn't make sense. But when we're having some of this growth like this and the contract balance, and I'm actually seeing the LP go up again, which I think that's really the power of the compounding, is that if you compound for months and months and months, you don't think you're seeing anything. But if we get these huge uptrends, let's say drip goes back to 20 to 30 to 50, whenever it does, if you had been compounding that amount of time, this does tick upwards along with the drip price and along with the contract balance, which people will flood back in if they see positivity. That's just how the sentiment works. You'll see this rapidly increase more so than you did in the beginning when you didn't have very many plants. I started with maybe 300 something plants. I don't even remember. 60, 90 plants, whatever it was. I got in when plants were like $6. And now I have, 12,000 plants? Something like that. Loading. 13,000. It starts rapidly increasing because every 30 plants that you plant is another plant per day. So once you get to that point, it just snowballs, and it's a really powerful, it's compound interest. Just do any of the math, use any of the calculators for compound interest, and you really see the power there behind it. So that's all for this video. It's just about the garden. Let me know in the comments what you're seeing, if you saw any improvement. And by the way, if you're not seeing improvement, how long have you been compounding? How long have you been in the garden? Because it really does take, at least months, 3 months, give it 4 months of just straight compounding, even if you got in with a lot, especially right now because it's on this downward trend. So how long have you been in the garden? How much did you start with? Do you get referrals? Are you seeing an uptrend? Are you not seeing an uptrend? All those things are important. Do you claim ever, or are you straight compounding? How many times a day are you compounding? Because all these things are variables that can kind of affect, but I'd be really interested to hear from everyone in the comments. All right, you guys, you have a great one. Stay safe. Catch you on the next video. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, and all your support. It's incredibly appreciated. Thanks again.